New Orleans had top-of-the-line barriers to prevent car attacks, but didn't use them on New Year's.
We have them. I didn't know about them, but we have them.
They're called Archer barriers, 700 pounds of L-shaped steel, certified by the Department of Homeland Security to stop cars from careening into pedestrian areas. They were credited with saving lives just last year when a woman was stopped from driving into a California parade. The CEO of the company that makes them said New Orleans purchased the barriers back in 2017. These barriers that the city deployed a day after the tragedy look like the same ones from 8 years ago, according to the CEO. Separately, security bollards like these were installed in Bourbon Street years ago, but they were in the process of being replaced for the Super Bowl since police found them inefficient, according to the New Orleans mayor. The city council president told WWL-TV that she and other council members believe that the repairs should have been completed earlier, but she also thinks that wouldn't have prevented the mass killing, that the driver would have tried some other way to get around the barriers.
Now, I don't doubt that the driver would have tried to attempt some other way to get to them. However, this would have been one less way for him to get to them had everything been set in place. The superintendent is just completely incompetent, as we can see. And people are calling for her to resign for her lack of accountability. Somebody said another disgraceful act by leadership who, in my opinion, should have never been hired. Accidentally, maliciously didn't know the barriers existed, seriously. And she has some things on her record as well that I seen a few days ago where she maybe was in some accident where she hit somebody. Stuff like that. I don't know. We'll probably check it out on a following video from this. Someone needs to find out why they weren't used on the business night of the busiest night of the year. Somebody said, why has the police superintendent not been fired yet? And DEI protocols or what? Now, these are 8 of the 15 New Orleans massacre fatalities that I definitely want to sit here and pay homage to real quick and send my thoughts and prayers out to the family of these individuals and the other individuals that were, taken away from this and injured from this incident. As you can see, Cash Patel is being talked about a lot in relation to this and what happened in Las Vegas as well. But he said that Tulsi and Pete Hegseth should be confirmed by the Senate immediately. And Biden would never say their names. He doesn't care. He's soulless. Not only that, I believe he actually joked somewhat about it. We're going to check it out in a minute. When she was hired in Chicago, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, Democrat, appointed her. When she was in Oakland, Mayor Libby Scaff, who's also a Democrat, appointed her. We're talking about this woman right here, Miss Kirkpatrick. When she landed in New Orleans, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, a Democrat, appointed her as the police superintendent. Now, she was fired. Now, I told y'all we was going to try to figure out, I said we was going to follow up in the next video, but I already had it in this one. I thought it was in my cyber video for whatever reason. These two incidents somehow are merging in my brain. I don't know if this happened if anybody else. But anyhow, it says she was fired as police chief in Oakland, ran over 2 people in August, and a 65-year-old elderly woman, her annual salary is over $300,000 a year. And you see this picture right here. They said she's failing at work. Somebody wrote, I heard her speaking on YouTube, on a YouTube video last night and was like, what the is this nonsense? She can give Kamala a run for her money with the word salad she spewed. Now, with her and Kamala in one room, I can only imagine. I told y'all about Biden actually joking about this a second ago. Here's the clip that I had queued up.
And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble. And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble.
Now, this is the leader of the free world right now. Paul added, Joe Biden disgracefully jokes during his press conference on the New Orleans attack. He said he wants to get this damn thing done so he can watch the Super Bowl, which is honestly a total insult to Americans who just lost their lives and those injured. Definitely, for sure. I mean, this isn't the time or place for jokes. Even when I'm covering some of these stories, I have to check myself. And I think that providing clarification is important in moments like that when you have a chuckle. If I sit here and real quick, I'm going, oh, okay, I'm going to make sure that we understand that I'm not laughing at anything that's happening here. It may be inappropriate, but this is what warranted the laugh, and I don't want anybody to take it as a slight or somehow take it as somehow me being demeaning towards what actually happened. Somebody said same reason why he never met with the families of the murdered soldiers during the botched Afghan withdrawal. Man, that was pathetic, right? Why didn't he contact the people who lost their family members to illegal aliens? Seriously. And you got Donald Trump, wasn't even a president, not yet, but he's the president-elect, and he's actually doing more than he was. Come on now. Why he had President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago raided in evidence planted, why he brought down, and by the way, Biden actually got caught with classified documents in his home, and he was not the president. Come on now. Or why he brought down lawfare against his political rival. He is self-centered. He is a self-centered a-hole who belongs in prison for stealing classified documents from the Senate SCIF and selling the information to at least 5 communist countries. Trump better do a number on these sorry MFers. Somebody said, so sad this is who leading us. Just a shell of a man, if you ask me. Somebody's pulling the strings. We just don't know. We can't pinpoint who exactly that is. FBJ will soon be in his basement. Nursemaid wanted to watch. He doesn't care. And they said he's heartless. And yeah, definitely. All this is deserving for sure. Now, we got to move on real quick to Janine Pirro, Judge Janine, giving her thoughts on this incident.
We were talking about the fact that the superintendent of police in New Orleans had no idea that they had these particular barriers. And she said she didn't know anything about it. And the guy whose company created these barriers is quoted as saying that his company has been trying to get in touch with the New Orleans Police Department because they don't know, they're not deploying these barriers correctly. And no one's getting back to him. Okay, so the barriers that the superintendent of police knew nothing about, they just found them, but they don't know how to use them. Now, I want to talk about Ann Kirkpatrick for a minute or two. Ann Kirkpatrick, who's the superintendent of police, is the one who said that, she didn't know anything about the fact that the department has had these barriers since 2017. And I say to myself, why wouldn't someone say before New Year's Eve, all right, guys, what assets do we have to put in place for New Year's Eve? She didn't even ask that question. But most importantly, she wants to make sure that we're not here to place blame. Why? Because they're all at fault. Ann Kirkpatrick, who was let go from the Oakland Police Department and served in many other police departments, Tennessee, Chicago, and New Orleans. Okay, this is a woman who needs to be fired. I'm sorry. People died because of her ineptitude. And in addition to that, she's arrogant about it. Why is she doing an individual press conference? Remember,
Yes.
The first one was a cluster mess. All right. And now she's going out on her own. Anyone who'll talk to her, she talks to them. So she said, I had no idea we had these barriers. And I want to talk about the fact that yesterday we talked about the bollards. Bottom line with the bollards, I looked up the contract. All right, the contract for the bollards was signed in November 18th of 2024. You were really expecting those to be ready by New Year's Eve? No, you were only preparing for the Super Bowl. You didn't give a damn about New Year's Eve because the bollards were not expected to be delivered until early February.
That's why they had the yellow ones in storage.
It's storage, but she didn't know about it, so they didn't deploy them. This is ineptitude ineptitude at the highest levels. And her arrogance on top of her ineptitude makes her a candidate for being fired. I think she's DEI.
Typical. I say it's typical that of a Democrat to play the arrogant role, to act as if, they are high and mighty and on the moral high ground of the situation. And I do not think that it is okay for her to be on this press campaign to try to defend herself and her name. That's what it seems like right now. I feel like she needs to be sending sentiments towards the families and doing her job to do what she can to investigate as much as she can to try to further a level of understanding for those families that are in the crossfire of this. So she finally finds the yellow barricades, but they are improperly deployed. I heard she ran over a couple people too. Somebody wrote, no city council or mayor should ever hire a police chief that does not work their way up through the ranks to earn it. This is an exaggerated example of why. These are the things that in that position you have to plan for. The fact that you have access to protective measures and you don't even you don't get the correct people to give you the knowledge on how to operate these things, or you don't go looking for how to get the understanding on how to operate these things. Yeah, that's definitely a total misstep on her behalf and everybody else involved. Now, New Orleans they are facing a lawsuit over this terror attack. Somebody says lawsuits only seem to be the only thing that will get through to the leftists. The ability of the terrorists to attack New Orleans so easily was a major screw up.
For a car like that from coming through and mowing down a bunch of people were not in use. She admitted she didn't know that those barriers even existed. So we had the lieutenant governor of Louisiana on this show earlier in the program reacting to that admission, that concession. Watch this.
Since I got elected lieutenant governor, we've been fighting with the administration to make the French Quarter safer. And it wasn't until Jeff Landry put a state police troop in the French Quarter, we saw great progress to save the French Quarter before this incident. And her lack of leadership from the top on down to know those barricades were taken out with New Year's in the Sugar Bowl is unacceptable.
All right, so there was that criticism. It's been echoing now for a number of days, and I got the lieutenant governor's reaction to this. I want to read it for you guys. This is from the mayor's office in New Orleans about this criticism. Quote, the city of New Orleans will not be distracted by outside commentary and welcomes everyone to join the positive efforts of the unified command partners. A little passive aggressive and snippy there. Yeah. I'm not sure if it counts as outside commentary when you've got leaders of the state wondering what happened here.
Yeah, if you don't have anything positive to say, you're just a distraction to, their investigation. Listen, we've seen terrorists use these tactics before, right? This mowing down of people using cars. Yeah. It's unfathomable. Not only that they didn't have it in place, that it was removed, wasn't put back before New Year's Eve, and that the supervisor in charge, Captain Ann Kirkpatrick, I believe is her name, didn't even know. I mean, it's unbelievable that she didn't even know that these barriers existed and were missing before this event. It's just so senseless.
And Charlie, that leader that she just mentioned came to New Orleans from a previous stop in Oakland, California.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Yeah, obviously it's enraging to look at this now and hear a statement like that when, the idea that elected officials or politicians or government officials are not answerable to voters, it's totally enraging. But it's even, if you want to know what kind of mindset winds up with this level of dangerous incompetence, it's the mindset that these people think they're not answerable to voters and they're not answerable to the public and they're not serving the public. They're there for some other reason, usually some sort of self-serving purpose. And you wind up with things like this happening.
Well, when you see the interview and the incompetence and just like the lack of, I don't know, there's no level of confidence you can have when you watch that interview by Ann Kirkpatrick. You just look at that and you go, clearly she's there because of DEI. I mean, and by the way, the lives lost is the most important thing, but there will be economic consequences for this community as well. There are people that are going to cancel their trips. There are people that are going to say that city's not safe. I don't want to do it there. There are conventions that are going to be canceled probably until the city gets its act in order.
This is so unfortunate. Our failing local government are on full display for everybody to see the incompetence right now. And the mayor there is a complete disgrace itself. And unfortunately, we have way too many sheep and everywhere in America, but definitely in that town in regards to that. And we need people to vote for a change. I don't see how people are okay with these leaders and their inability to be able to protect them. We deserve and they deserve better.